Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings. Today we have a trending news for you, and the news headline reads: Presidency blasts EU, US and UK, says we are not answerable to you. But before we continue with details of the news and further analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube. Let's listen to the news.
The presidency says Nigeria is a sovereign state, a sovereign nation, and will not be bothered about the reports from the United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Union as regards human rights abuses. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, said this on Channels Television Politics Today program. On Wednesday, Adesina was asked to react to the report from the EU, UK, and the US that Nigeria's high record of human rights abuses. He was also asked to react to the invasion of the Federal High Court Abuja by men of the Department of State Services who arrested the publisher of Sahara Reporters, Omoyele Sowore, last Friday. Responding to the question, Adesina said, "We are not answerable to the US. We are not answerable to the UK. Neither are we answerable to the EU. We are Nigeria, a sovereign country. Those countries and entities have issues of their own. Let them deal with their issues. Let Nigeria also deal with her internal issues. We are not answerable to them at all." When asked to respond to criticism against the regime of President Major General Muhammad Buhari, retired, by Professor Wole Soyinka, Adesina said the Nobel laureate was free to express his opinion. "We respect Professor Soyinka. You don't have too many of them in the country or even in the continent. He is an avatar and he is well respected, but his opinion will remain his opinion. It will be considered, and if there are things to act on, we will act on them," he said. Adesina said the presidency would not take the opinion of a few Nigerians as that of the majority. He said the ultimatum issued by 14 civil society groups as well as the editorial by the Punch was not the mind of the majority of Nigerians. Genuine issues will be looked into. We have had instances in which government had to reverse itself because there were concerns raised. It shows that the government is responsive, but you cannot listen to a babble of voices. It will distract you from what you are doing, the president's spokesman said. When reminded of the fact that he was also a journalist before taking up the job to be the president's spokesman, Adesina said he would remain true to his calling. "I am still in the media. It's just that the roles are a bit reversed. When I'm done with government by the grace of God, I will return to the media," he said. Adesina said he would not make any comment on the allegation leveled against the nephew of the president, Muhammad Buhari, and the senior special assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, by the First Lady Aisha Buhari. In a statement on Wednesday, Mrs. Buhari had alleged that Shehu took orders from Duara, adding that Duara ordered Shehu to issue a statement announcing that the office of the First Lady has been scrapped. When asked to react to the allegations, Adesina said the question should be directed to Shehu since it was he that the allegations were leveled against and not him.
All right, thank you very much. This is really saddening in the sense that Nigeria is trying to be not just a sovereign nation, but a nation that would not want to listen to any other nation. Don't forget that any child that rebels against his father might not end up well, whether we like it or yes. US, UK, EU are like our big brothers. Like for example, Nigeria actually got independence from UK. We were under their tutelage. Whatever structure you are seeing in Nigeria, most of the time, if you check it very well, is traceable to UK, which therefore means that to some extent they have some influences over Nigeria. Yes, we are a sovereign nation, but at the same time, whether you are a sovereign nation or not, you need to lend ears. We are not independent enough not to lend ears and also seek advice, political advice, economic advice to some of this world power, because a time will come where you will need them seriously. A time will certainly come when you will need this guy seriously. So no matter how sovereign you are, no matter how independent in decision making you are, you must always learn to queue behind certain people, take them up as mentor, queue behind them, learn one or two things, and also learn to listen to them so that you can correct some of the ills. Now, with the response that we are having now, that actually we are not under the tutelage, we are a sovereign nation and all of that, it clearly shows that we are tilting towards a system that is adverse to those people, to UK and US. These guys are practicing, for the one I know, that's, for example, US, they are practicing pure democracy. And you have experienced it in all respects. And they believe that whatever Nigerians are doing, the definition is still the same. If we claim that we are practicing democracy, then we need to align with the tenets of democracy. But unfortunately, that's not what is happening. And you can hear what Femi Adesina has said to just show you that, these guys have sat down with them themselves and have developed a particular system of government which on a daily basis they are rolling out the characteristics of this system of government, and which is not okay with us. Now they're telling you, UK, EU, stay off our business. We want to deal with that. Even if we trash our rule of law, there is no problem about it. Even if we arrest and we imprison those who are freedom fighters, it's none of your business. Even if we tread on the fundamental human rights of our citizen, it's none of your business. And when a child is tilting this way, he's going to damnation. Don't forget, the Holy Bible says that there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof is death. And that is where we are tilting to. This same Adesina that is talking and saying all of that, don't forget, one of the things that is very important as a political appointee or one who has been elected into a position, don't always forget that there is a timeline of your existence. And by the time you come out of the next 10 years, when people begin to retrospect when you were in the office and comparing the criticism that you are meting out to the present day government, they will judge you. And sometimes at one point you realize that they are so quiet, they won't be able to say anything. One guy, one Igbo man, just came up and told Buhari a simple truth. And that truth he told him was that you are only a tenant in Answerable. You are not a landlord, which means whether you like it or not, there is a terminal point for you. There is a time that you must exit that truth. There were other people who came out, anarchy, this and that. They thought that forever they will be there. But guess what? They step out today. Nobody can have the boldness to mention the surname of Abacha in Nigeria. I said, I am. You cannot hit your hand on your chest and say, I am the son of Abacha. Without people mopping you, without people throwing stone at you. You can't even hear their voices among the political appointees. Why? Because people have already underlined them. One of the things I want some of those guys who are leaders in Nigeria, no matter what they are doing to their fellow citizen, is number one, they should know that there is a future. Posterity will judge them. Posterity will judge their children. Today, if, for example, the way Buhari is moving, if he continues like this, it's a clear indication that his son will never be recognized in Nigeria. Look at Saraki. The father was a politician. Saraki today is a politician. It's an indication that people accepted the way the father was doing things politically. Yeah, we make mistakes. Everybody know about that. There are one or two blunders. We understand it. But whenever you are tilting towards, destroying the rule of law, not respecting the supremacy of the law, which you promise to uphold at all times, is an indication that you are trying to rule it as if you are ruling your home. And that is totally unacceptable. Hear what he has said about some of the allegations that we have heard. If another person was the one that maybe came up, maybe like Point Blank News came up and brought forth the issue of Aisha Buhari and Shehu Gabar and the rest, by now, all of them, media people, they will say fake news. fake news. But thank God it's Aisha herself that came up and opened up to Nigerians and said, this is what is happening, just to a pointer to the fact that all the news that we have been hearing before now, which we thought it was grapevine, it was actually rumors and all of them, they were actually factual. Don't forget that it has already been widespread that most of the decisions that is going on in Answerable is absolutely not the handiwork of the president, but those cabals who are there to make sure that they rubbish this country according to their little minds. And until Nigerians wake up and see how we can correct these things, or for those people to be kicked out, these things will continue. And this is not really okay for the country. Look at him. And guess what? One of the things I've noticed in Nigeria is no matter who you claim you are, no matter what the kind of career that you build in a particular, calling or sector, you will be tested to prove the level of integrity that you have and how much you respect what you have learned for many years. We can see how what's the name, Vice President Yemi Osibanjo, how he has failed the legal profession. And the same thing with this guy, how all of them, they have failed Nigeria woefully. And this is not good. My own is this thing, this war that you're about to start, this thing that you're trying to pretend as if they are not that, the world powers that are not important, you can't listen to them. Don't forget that one day, monkey will look for him, papa. Don't forget. Now that you are proving that in Nigeria, we are proving that we are God. These guys, they know what they can do to frustrate Nigeria. They know. So by the time they begin to take that step towards that direction, it's not, my problem is that, my concern is that it's not going to just be just the presidency that will suffer, but the generality of Nigeria. And that is why we are hoping and trusting that what the 14 NGOs, they have come together, that's the civil society group, CSOs, that have come together, giving him a timeline that if he doesn't straighten certain things, that we are going to go on massive protests. I hope and trust that they will stand by their words, and we'll see how we can correct certain things in this country. All right, my colleague have something to say here.
Well, for me, I know that it's just a matter of time. This issue of him saying that we are not answerable to the world powers like the EUs, the UNs, and the UK, to a large extent, to some extent, he is right. But we should also not forget the fact that these EUs and this UN he's talking about actually got our UK, we actually got our independence from them, and we still do a lot of things with them. This issue of borrowing and the rest, where do we get our money from? Exactly. It's not from them.
Exactly.
You are broke. I want to do some project. The next thing you go to World Bank. Who are those organizing the World Bank? You know those countries that are gathered together and do those such things. You are looking for this, you're looking for that. It's still them. You're looking for tech, bilateral. Yes, all this bilateral relationship. Where do you get it from? It's not from them. All this want to do bilateral relationship. Them, transferring their tech knowledge down to Nigeria. Is it not still? It's still not them. Do you want to live? Which tree stays on its own and forms a forest? Begin to start looking, and they're telling you, look, in all charter, AU, that's African Union, EU, UK, UN, we all have similar, if not the same charter on human rights, and they're saying, look, uphold it. If you call yourself democracy, then democracy should have the same symptoms and characteristics. Your democracy should not be different from every other country's democracy because it is spelled the same way in every nation of the world. Why should yours be different? Now, what they are asking for is that actually, if they go ahead and keep doing what they are doing without taking cognizance of the fact that the power nations are watching and they are constantly raping, constantly abusing human rights in Nigeria, all in the name of power tussle and leadership, then Nigeria should get ready for slamming sanctions. They may get sanctions that is unbelievable. The only problem is the fact that Nigerians will suffer a great deal. I could still remember during the days of the military rule of Sani Abacha, Nigerians didn't go for World Cup that period because we were sanctioned. And many more sanctions that are more deadly will come into play. And Nigerians may suffer for it. This whole issue of the forming muscle. You're forming muscle on who? On Nigerians that will suffer. We are not even, you're calling us independent state. How independent really are we? Where we borrow, an average Nigerian is already indebted due to the large number of borrowing and corruption in the country, and you're calling yourself independent. You're not independent. You're still very much dependent. Forget the sovereign rule thing. Yes, we are sovereign, yes, but the truth of the matter is our leaders have sold us cheap. And this whole issue of saying not answerable, you should be careful of the use of words. It's not answerable. Yes, to some extent, we have internal issues, but you need to still remember that you still need them one way or the other in future. So be very careful so that they don't remind you of your words when you need to swallow it.
All right, that's where we're going to leave it. Go to our comment section, let us interact. What do you think about the statement meted out by the media person to the president, Femi Adesina? Do you think this will augur well with Nigeria in the nearest future? Please, let's interact. Don't forget also to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon.